Helen became a widow when her two daughters, Samantha and Samirah, were still in secondary school. Their father's death left the family emotionally shaken, and instead of healing, Helen grew obsessed with one idea: her daughters must change the family's life by any means necessary. She wanted people to know who Helen was. When Samantha turned 18, the pressure became louder. "Samantha, you're the firstborn. You must save this family. No excuses." Samantha dreamed of studying nursing, but Helen forced her to look for work that paid big money. Every job Samantha tried, Helen took her salary. Samirah, the younger daughter, was different, stronger in spirit. One evening she told their mother, "We are your daughters, not your investment." Helen slapped her across the face. Years passed. Both girls grew into hardworking young women, but Helen's pressure only grew worse. She controlled their lives and their money. Then came the turning point. A wealthy man in the city noticed Samantha's quiet beauty. He was older, too old, but Helen saw opportunity. She begged, manipulated, and emotionally blackmailed Samantha to marry him. "This is your chance to make us rich. I suffered raising you. Now it's your turn to pay me back." Samirah fought back harder than ever. "Mother, you are selling Samantha like property. She's not a goat in the market." But Helen's greed was stronger than her conscience. She arranged everything behind Samantha's back: the man, the dowry, even the wedding date. Then the twist hit. The wealthy man was suddenly arrested for fraud 1 week before the wedding. His entire fortune disappeared overnight. Helen collapsed. All her plans gone. She turned to Samantha in despair. "What will we do now? We've lost everything." For the first time, Samantha stood her ground. "We didn't lose everything. You lost your greed. Me and Samirah. We still have our dignity." After the wealthy man got arrested and Helen's plan failed, Samantha left the neighborhood out of shame and embarrassment caused by her mother. She wanted to take Samirah with her, but Samirah's workplace was near their home, so it was impossible for them to move out together. Samirah stayed with their ungrateful mother, who constantly complained that she was not doing enough to improve their lives. Helen kept insisting that their food wasn't good enough, that they needed to become successful, move into a classy neighborhood, and stop living like ordinary people. She always told Samirah, "Use your beauty. What is your beauty doing for you? Don't you know about beauty privilege?" Samirah was suffering in her mother's hands. But her job didn't pay a high salary. She couldn't afford to rent her own house because rent was too expensive. Even the little money she earned, she had to contribute to bills at home. Meanwhile, Samantha was doing well in another state, happy to finally be away from her toxic mother. But she was still worried about Samirah. They spoke every day, and Samirah always told her not to worry, that she could manage living with their mother. Later, Samantha met her former secondary school classmate, the good-looking man named Ken. They were happy to reconnect and exchanged numbers. Back home, Samirah's life became harder because of her mother's constant insults. She began going to bars with friends to escape the toxic environment. She returned home late at night when her mother was asleep. At 23, she started clubbing, partying, and meeting new men. Eventually, she quit her small job because she was always tired during the day. She began receiving gifts from men. She started traveling to places like Dubai, Mauritius, Ghana, and Zanzibar. And surprisingly, Helen, the same mother who once complained about everything, began enjoying the luxurious life her daughter was living. Then, Samirah met a man who wanted a serious relationship with her. He told her he wanted her to stop spending nights out. He wanted her to be a smart Christian girl. Samirah fell in love, and she stopped partying, traveling, and meeting men. She stayed home more often. But Helen became furious. "How can a man make you quit the soft life? Are you even married to him? If you respect me, dump this man immediately. If you don't, you will have to leave my house." Samirah was shocked. She did not have enough money to rent her own house. The money she got from men had been spent on bills at home, food, hair, nails, shoes, bags, paying for drinks in bars, and even paying for her mother's pedicure, manicure, and sauna massages. Helen was living like a queen. With no savings and under pressure, Samirah ended the relationship with the man who truly cared for her. She returned to her old lifestyle, drinking, partying, and traveling. She began meeting multiple men again, each giving her money and gifts. Eventually, she moved out of her mother's house and began living in a luxurious apartment. Samantha was worried about how Samirah earned her money. Samirah lied, saying the money came from one boyfriend, though in reality it came from multiple men. She sacrificed her time, energy, and sleep, always exhausted from trying to maintain that lifestyle. Shockingly, Helen packed her bags and moved into Samirah's apartment. She said she wanted to enjoy the soft life with her daughter, the same soft life she had pushed her into. Helen ate like a king, sipped champagne, and lived like royalty, while Samirah worked herself sick to maintain the lifestyle. But soon, the men who used to visit Samirah's apartment lost interest because Helen was always there. Friends stopped visiting because the apartment felt like a parent's house. Samirah started struggling to pay the rent. She began going out and drinking excessively. She started smoking and became a drunkard. Eventually, the apartment owner chased both Samirah and her mother out. They returned to the same neighborhood Helen had always wanted to escape. Neighbors gossiped and laughed. Some even said, "Like mother, like daughter." Samirah continued drinking, smoking, and arguing with her mother. Things became unbearable. Samantha, feeling pity for her sister, paid for a rehabilitation center for her. She blamed their mother for Samirah's miserable life. Samirah spent months in rehab, while Samantha remained in her peaceful home in the other state. Helen was left alone in the family house, yet she still cursed her daughters, saying that having them was the worst thing that ever happened to her. After months in rehab, Samirah was discharged and went to live with Samantha. She helped her sister in her business to stay busy and avoid falling back into old habits. Samantha and Ken's relationship grew stronger. After months of video calls and chatting, they became engaged. 2 years later, they married quietly in a small ceremony. Eventually, Samantha relocated to England to live with her husband but kept her business running. Samirah stayed behind to manage it. Years passed. Helen began feeling lonely. She realized she should never have treated her daughters the way she did. One day, she picked up her phone and wrote a long message, "Samirah, my daughter, I am sorry for all the terrible things I did to you and your sister. I am full of regret. I don't deserve to be called a mother. I now realize the success I didn't have in my youth was not something you should have been responsible for. I should have raised you with love. I am sorry. If you don't forgive me, I will understand. Please tell your sister Samantha because I don't have her England number. If one day life becomes hard for you again, don't hesitate to come to the village. I will make sure you have what to eat. I now know that loving you is my duty as a mother. Only God knows. I wish you both luck, happiness, and good health." Samirah read the message and didn't reply. 3 days later she read it again and cried, but still didn't respond. 6 months later, she traveled to the village to see her mother. They hugged and cried. Samirah was surprised to see her mother living in the village, calm, peaceful, and dedicated to farming and growing crops. Helen kept cooking for her, saying, "This is what I should have done for you and your sister from the beginning." Years later, Samantha and her husband Ken invited Samirah to the UK to live and work there. Their mother was happy and finally had Samantha's number. Samantha had forgiven her. Helen wrote one more message to both daughters, "I am happy that you are living your best lives after everything I put you through. I am happy that I bent you, but you didn't break. You had every reason to be destroyed by my actions, but you stood like rocks. Be happy and don't miss me too much. When you come back, I will still be here waiting for you. I'm not going anywhere until I see my grandchildren running in my village compound. I love you. Moral lesson. Children are not born to fix a parent's life. They need guidance, not pressure. Greed breaks families, love rebuilds them. Children don't owe their parents success. What they need most is protection, patience, and love. When a parent chooses greed over care, the whole family pays the price. A parent's greed can destroy a child's future. Love is not a debt, and children are not investments. When a mother forgets love, she loses everything that truly matters.